Alrighty, we're at the Queen raid, and I didn't go ahead and pull for a Queen. I know I pulled a lot of the Type 0 characters, and I'm gonna pull, I think I have Deuce on the radar when she actually gets her BTFR combo. I think I'm gonna skip Queen and Cater, just because for the most part, their playstyle is kind of a little specific. Particularly in Queen's case, having to change HP attack and being only melee and all that, she's just a little too, a little weird in my opinion. But we did bring Balthier, we did bring Paine. These enemies don't have that much health to what we're used to. And the gimmick of this fight is we basically have no HP throughout it. But that's perfectly fine. We do have quite a bit of protection in both Paine and in Balthier. And we should be able to protect ourselves from their threshold attacks. So I think it's, well, I forget when they do it. But they should have them coming up not too far off from now. So we're just going to go ahead and get some debuffs up while we can. And just kind of go into town. Like, it shouldn't be a very hard Shinryu fight. Like, as you can see, like, their life bars don't really indicate too much going on. And that's to be expected. This is, from what I've heard, a whatever Shinryu. We're just going to go ahead and get Paine already activated and started. Because we are going to be doing not a whole lot of buffing. But enough buffing to where I think it's better to have Paine on the left than it is at the top, because there's just no debuffs coming from this party outside of Paine and her break attack and our calls. And that's basically it for the for the debuff side. There's not a whole lot going on. It's a lot more on the buff side. And here I'm just gonna go ahead and Manosphere does keep her 2 frame buffs. Let's go ahead and speed rush. We do have Raijin on Queen as well, and that's basically just going to protect us from a few thresholds that we're going to want to be aware of. And here, we're just going to go ahead and let's give ourselves a few turns. Let's go ahead and delay. Because we do have protection in both Balthier's BT effect and Paine's HP silence. So that's going to basically, help keep us safe for the most part. The BT silence isn't going to be triggering that much because we have her on the left-hand side. And the silence only ever goes up when Paine acts now. But that's perfectly fine. Here we're just going to go ahead and press Black Sky. And she does get an extra turn, so we are going to get an extra turn of silence, which is good. That's what we want to see. That's what we want to see. And I'm just going to go ahead and press it again while we wait for our EX to charge, because that's the only other buff Paine has to upkeep. So we brought a fairly simple team for a fairly simple fight. And Queen has some interesting things she can do, like when she does get to her EX, but nothing that's going to require immediate attention. Then she's just going to keep the party alive with her LD buff, just because that does give the whole party last stand. And that could come up, extra turn. Actually, I could have paired Queen up with Rem and just get her EX charging like crazy. Her damage is at least a lot lesser than it used to be, so that's good. And as you can see, we were getting a fuck ton of turns. And I'm wondering if I'm going to want to just BT phase this. Probably not, actually. What I think I'm going to do here is I'm probably going to go into a Balthier BT phase. Because these guys are about to attack me, and it is going to be fairly annoying. I'm kind of regretting not putting on the Raijin Spear now. But it's fine. Here, we're just going to go ahead and grade aim. Because Balthier, for the damage he could output, it's going to be more than enough for this fight. Because we could have also just like for a BT phase to happen naturally. But this is fine. This is fine. Then I'm not sure if this is an actual turn we're going to be able to take. And we can't actually beat the HP silence going, or not the HP silence, the, what's the word I'm looking for? The threshold attack, the threshold attack that's coming up. We're not going to actually be able to beat that right now, but I think as long as Queen's giving us last stand, we should be alright. Just because Queen also heals with her LD as well, so that's perfectly fine. And I think I'd rather just have Balthier's BT effect up now, as opposed to later. And canceling their force time is actually rather simple. It's literally just like a melee bravery FR. And I think Paine's is ranged, but that shouldn't be that much of an issue. Actually, both of these two are ranged, I believe. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on that. Like, Paine's got a weird mixed kit where, like, some of it's fizz, some of it's range. Mostly physical, though, like melee attacks. Yeah, 800k max health break. If we could act again here, that'd be great. Oh, we get to act. Basically, I wanted to act here, so now that we have our BT effect up, this is just going to go ahead and apply his debuff to where they can't actually do any damage to us. And that's just going to mitigate this force ability. Yeah, that Flash of Steel should do nothing. Because there's a few ways to go about this fight. Like, you know, you could Brave Control them, you can do HP Silence, you can... As long as you can find a way to mitigate most of their attacks, you should be fine. We're just going to go ahead and break attack. We're almost getting to that time where Queen could also take her... Wow, she has how many stacks? 9? I don't think I've ever seen it that high. I guess Balthier doing that BT phase really just gave the party double turns. So here, I'm just going to go ahead and Divine Judgment. And there's plenty of protection on the party now that we have, you know, the mute wing going on, and they can't actually HP attack us. And that's just going to help Queen's EX and just make sure we don't die throughout it. So she's got quite a few partners that pair well with her in terms of protection. Then I think she's like immortal or something. But Can't use HP attacks. And that's what exactly we want to see, because this fight is very, or these enemies I should say, are very HP heavy. They just want to hurt us. Yeah, and the unfortunate part about Paine, when she activates her BT effect when she's on the left-hand side, is that it wears out fairly quickly just because we're constantly getting free turns. Which isn't like a bad thing, it's like, oh no. What am I going to do with all these turns? But her EX buff is about to fall off, and that's just because like when you take multiple turns in a row, it like messes with your EX charging, like it gets a little funky. But because we do have her on the left, and I think she's close to maxing out her throttle. Oh yeah, she's maxed it out. Okay, before we go ahead and go into BT, let's just go ahead and get this Hyoro maxed out real quick. And a nice little ice enchant. Although I think we're capping on everything. Oh, that's right. I think the buff duration we're granted now has been reduced to 1. Which is hilarious. Because that basically does nothing. So here, actually with that in mind, I'm just going to Dark Shroud and then I'm going to EX. Because if we just try and buff ourselves now, our duration's only at 1 anyway. So who cares? Force time canceled. Yeah, perfect. And we lost our EX buff, but we're about to reapply that, so who cares? Let's go ahead and sword dance it up. Yeah, wing power. Yeah, that's what it's falling off. And this fight, you know, fairly... plenty of ways to go about it. Like, carrying Queen here should be a non-issue for most teams. It's nice to have a simple fight every now and then, though. Not that much of a reason to pull for the fight. And right now that's good for me because my resources took a big hit not too long ago. So let's see. So I believe it's Ballista Lunge we do first. And then we go into Devastate. Which is kind of awkward with how that works with Pumice Feather. Look at this increased damage. The rework. But luckily, Balthier should also be taking a few extra turns here as well. That'll give us time to actually reapply our BT effect. Because we only have 1 turn of that left. And Gorgon shot. I don't know if Pumice Feather goes down and gives us extra turns if Paine's BT effect wears off. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. I could just go ahead and double echo Let's see, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No, actually, I think we're fine. I think what I'm gonna do instead is I'm gonna refresh the BT effect. Because if I'm reading the turn order right, we should be able to end it on Balthier's turn and just do double echo here at maximum gauge. And that would be pretty buff. So let's do that. Let's see, and here I think we just spam Devastate. Yeah, 9 million? Not too bad for changed HP. Not the craziest that I've seen, but a lot of changed HPs actually come from BTFX and not the EX buff. So it's actually pretty interesting that she gets it from EX instead. Then I do have her, you know, with Ultimate Weapon 5. I don't have her Armor Blue or anything like that. Like, I do have a lot of the Type 0 cast Blue, but I'm just lazy half the time. I'm like, ah. Cannot use HP attacks, yeah. And basically we just kind of shut this fight out from what it's trying to do to us. And we're okay with that. Does this apply her... Yeah, this actually doesn't give her her buff. That's kind of lame as fuck. So we could refresh it. And they have 50% left, and we only have 2 turns, but Balthier is basically just going to make that a non-issue. And I'm not sure if Hummus Feather still triggers if the BT effect is gone. So I'm a little hesitant to just go for move into double FR. Because it might just stick around. Oh, whatever. Let's just do the FR. We're already at basically max gauge. You know, a little less than, but a high enough gauge to where I don't think it matters. These guys, you know, only 180 million each. That's nothing. And then Gorgon shot follow up. Damn, that's pretty buff. Oh, that's right. I think I might have applied Kurosame when their force time was up. So I think that Hyoro debuff only lasted for 1 turn. A bugoo. Nothing but damage. I think his EX buff is about to fall off, but I don't think it matters. We're just gonna LD and end the fight anyway. Yeah, so there's plenty of ways, like, it looks scary, like, just looking at what they do to your HP, but believe me, there's plenty of ways you could get around this fight without really worrying about the mechanics, because there basically are none outside of you have low health. You know, as long as you can freeze their Brave, as long as you could make them not do HP attacks on you, you'll be perfectly fine. Queen, you could carry her through this no problem. But anyways, boys, that's the Queen raid. Protecting the Queen. Easy, so easy. Balthier, still a, you know, good damage dealer, but this is a pretty easy fight. Take it easy.